I want to show you the entire process of how we added an extra $20,000 in organic Google search revenue to this e-commerce brand. They're a beauty brand in Australia. They were spending heavily on ads, but every sale that they made had a cost attached to it. So every customer, there was a cost to acquire that. And when you do that, the moment you turn off the ads, then the revenue stops. And so I completely changed that for this brand with SEO. I want to show you exactly how we did that. So when we first started, this brand came on board, they had almost no SEO foundation set at all. I hadn't done any SEO, the site had not been optimized, there was no content strategy, no link building had been done. And so we were basically starting from zero. And so they're in the beauty niche in Australia, and all their competitors had been doing SEO for quite a while. Like you could tell from their websites, they've been investing in SEO. They had good links, they had good content. So we had a bit of catching up to do. And when we first started, this brand was making about $15,000 a month from Google search. And that number sounds pretty decent, but it's actually almost entirely on accident. There was no real strategy behind this. They just naturally were showing up for different keywords because they've been in business for quite a while, and that tends to happen. And so when a site has never been touched from SEO perspective, then early wins can come fast because you're optimizing things from the get-go. And so Google automatically sees this new change. And so it's like, oh, what's going on here? This website is now looking much better to show up in these different positions. So that's kind of, great from an SEO perspective to start in that position. So what I did, had a look at the site, and what the audit revealed was there was plenty of high intent keywords with low to medium difficulty that no one was seriously competing for yet. And when I say that, I mean the competitors were obviously doing SEO, but there were still like kind of angles that we could attack to get this store showing up in the search results, as we'll show in the future. Collection pages on their site had essentially no visibility in Google, and they had no content on them. They weren't optimized at all. So that was, big opportunity right there. There was no internal linking at all, no internal linking structure. And also there was just zero backlink profile. And so that's what the brand was like when we first started. This was back in roughly April of last year, I think, or a little bit before then, something like that. But first of all, the first thing that we did was a full technical audit. And so there's no point building content on a site that Google is struggling to crawl properly. And so before touching a single piece of content, we ran a complete technical audit. Now, this is not the flashy part of SEO, and it is, quite boring, but it's essential. You need to do this. And the other thing as well, it shouldn't take that long. This all gets done within the first couple of days. And especially on smaller e-commerce sites, there's not that much that needs to be updated. But the main things that we look for were duplicate content, and this is common with lots of brand owners. They'll copy and paste product pages, collection pages, and so all this content is the exact same across the site. So we had to optimize that. There was a lot of pages that had missing H1 tags, which is like the title of the page, and so that's super important. There are a lot of thin pages, which are pages that have basically no content on them. And so Google has nothing to work with to determine the relevance or quality of that page. And so we need to make sure there's content on all these pages. And then finally, kind of different internal linking gaps. So the authority that we were going to get on this site had no kind of clear path to follow. So we needed to make sure that we could kind of implement that. And so we mapped out a 6-month roadmap based on all of this and what the audit showed in terms of what collection pages to prioritize, where we needed to build internal links, what the link building budget should be, and where it should focus on. And so we kind of built a roadmap based on all of that. Then we moved into the first 30 days, and this is where you build the foundation and where I try and do the most work possible rather than trying to drip feed this over the next couple of months. And so the first couple of things that we did in these first 30 days, we optimized every collection page that was already on the site. So we found a target keyword for each page, put it in the H1, in the intro content. We added more content at the bottom of the page under the product grid, had FAQs, internal links, all the works, made sure that every page that was already on the site had a specific target keyword that it was optimized for. Then what we did was we added 15 new collections based on these new keywords that we found. And we did that within the first 30 days as well, updating all the existing pages at the same time and kind of interlinking them, which is number 3, built an internal linking structure. Every collection page got internal links pointing to the most relevant and related collections. Blogs will link into the collections link into products, so forth. We want to make sure that we flow authority down our funnel from top to bottom. And then by doing this, we set up authority flow paths. So setting this up early meant that when we started to build backlinks and started to get more content on the site, that authority had a clear path to flow through the entire site. And so one external link landing, say, on a blog post could then push authority to 5 or 6 collection based on our internal linking structure. So this is the work that a lot of brands skip because it feels repetitive and is unglamorous, but this is what gives Google the context it needs to understand what each page is about and start moving it up the rankings. So while it may seem simple, while it may seem boring, this is what you need to do if you want to optimize your site for SEO. So the first 30 days of any SEO campaign are about getting the foundation right, and everything you do after that will start to compound properly. So if your store has never had this foundation built, or you want to take SEO seriously, then that's exactly what I do with every brand I work with. So you can click the link in the description below, visit my website, and I will personally do an audit on your site, show you a video breakdown of exactly where you're missing revenue and how you can implement these things in the next 7 days to make more money with SEO. So after that, months 2 to 4 was about content and link building. So once our foundation was solid, we shifted our focus to building topical authority through our content and backing it up with quality links. And so the blog content that we created was all middle of funnel. We targeted keywords where people were already knowing that they wanted to buy this brand's products, but maybe they're still in the decision kind of area. And so each blog was structured to do two things, and that was build topical authority by showing Google that our site was an expert in this niche, and then also act as a landing page for backlinks, which then passed authority throughout the page with our internal links. And then secondly, the link building strategy that we took ran alongside the content from month 2 onwards, essentially. And so we focused entirely on quality of backlinks, not quantity. And so the relevant links from real websites in the same niche, not cheap packages or set number of links. And throughout this time, we secured about 20 high quality domains using link insertions. That's the main thing we focus on with e-commerce brands. Distributed these across the homepage, collection pages, and in blogs. And then we never really linked to product pages directly because it just doesn't look as natural. And also with the type of products that this brand sells, it just doesn't really make sense. And so this is an example of a good quality link that we had. And so you can see here, the website has good domain traffic. I don't really focus on DR too much, but they've got a good DR of 30. But the main thing here is you can see that the page traffic for these individual sites have, heaps of traffic, like 8,000 people visiting this one site specifically, one page specifically, I should say. So this page, makes up almost, 20% of this entire website's traffic. And it's also got good linking domains. So these are the kind of things we look for. These are real websites with real traffic, real page traffic to the actual pages we're getting links on, and also linking domains, which basically mean that this page is also getting backlinks. So we're kind of doing like a tiered link building strategy here, where we're getting links on a page that is really relevant, and that's getting links from other pages. Essentially, this is how we get good quality links, and this is how we increase the rankings so dramatically. So the way that content and links work together is this kind of architecture that we build makes SEO compound over time. So a single quality backlink landing on a blog post doesn't just help that blog post rank, but it flows authority down through our internal linking structure to every collection page that we link into, and the product page is connected to that. And so the whole site can kind of build its authority as a result of this one link. And so these are the results month by month. So obviously you can't really see it all here because the growth was so dramatic, but we started at about 16K a month, and this just continued to grow to the point by month 10, we've reached $36,000 a month in organic search revenue. And so starting at 15, by month 6, we hit about 25,000. By month 10, we hit 36,000. So we added an extra $21,000 a month from Google search revenue, organic revenue that they didn't need to pay ads for, they didn't need to pay per click to get. And this is all from the compounding work of SEO that we've done. And so the keyword here is compounding. This is the real reason why the results keep growing and have continued to grow, because with links, every link that we get keeps working. So those links that I showed before, we got them pretty early in our kind of campaign. And so we get them in month 2 and they still keep working in month 8. And unlike ad spend, you don't have to pay again for the same link to keep delivering. You pay once, you get the link, and then it's there, and it starts to continue. It continues to work for you, sorry. And then secondly, the pages keep ranking. So every collection page that we optimize in the first couple of weeks kept ranking and generating revenue without needing to be touched again. Obviously, we have updated the pages here and there, but ultimately we've built the page once and you kind of let it be, and then it starts to compound from there. Again, authority keeps building. Every blog we write in the early months keep helping with links, keep building topical authority over time. And the site became more and more authoritative for every passing month that we had. The more that we got links, the more that we built content. And then the keywords kept expanding. The collection pages optimized in month 1 were ranking for multiple keywords each, not just the primary target keyword. And so, we have one page, but it's many revenue streams. It's not just optimized for one keyword. We have multiple keywords getting traffic to the website. And I'll pop up a screenshot here showing how we've gone from about 50 keywords on the first page to almost 200, I think, or 180 or something. It's just dramatic, the amount of increase that we've got for this brand. And so the real value here is we've built an organic channel that never turns off. So we've added $20,000 in monthly organic revenue from Google search on top of what they were already making. It's $0 per click. You don't have to pay for a click. Every organic visitor costs nothing to acquire. Whereas paid ads, obviously, there's a cost attached to every sale that you make. And this was all done within 10 months. So we went from 15 to 36 in organic revenue in under a year. And we've continued to build that since since I'm making this video essentially. And this was all done without this crazy complicated strategy, just getting the fundamentals right, building content that matched what buyers were actually searching for, earning quality links consistently over time. And this is how we've managed to get amazing results for this brand and all the other brands that I'm working with. So if you want to know what this process would look like for your brand, click the link below. You can visit my website and you can actually fill out a form, and I'll do a full video breakdown of your site, showing you where you're leaking revenue. And then if you want to work together, maybe we can do that. If not, keep watching these videos.